Hello there, you're listening to the Box Office Show. I'm Ryan Hill.
And I'm Dylan Johnson. Today we're going to be talking about the box office numbers from last weekend and our box office predictions for this upcoming weekend.
And for our fifth Halloween special, we will be discussing black and white Hollywood fright from nearly 100 years ago with the classic Universal monsters. In honor of Del Toro's Frankenstein adaptation that just got released, we will talk about the iconic 1931 version.
And we're also going to be talking about The Mummy from 1932, also starring Boris Karloff, and Creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954. And here to help us do that, our resident horror fanatic making his 1,000th appearance on the show, Mr. Sean Tormey is back.
Yes, I am. Happy Halloween, everyone.
It's not
Happy
truly
Halloween.
a horror special without Sean Tormey.
Woo woo.
Let's jump into the news. Roadhouse times 2. We're getting 2 sequels apparently for Roadhouse. In a very odd story. This is a continuation of, if you remember when we talked about Doug Liman, he was very upset with Amazon for putting his Roadhouse film on streaming rather than in theaters. He was very vocal about it. They apparently liked how Roadhouse did on Amazon, so they were like, let's get a sequel and not invite Doug Liman back to direct it. So Ilya Naishuller, who has done Nobody and Hardcore Henry, he is working on the sequel to the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse movie. But just this past week, Doug Liman gets the rights to Roadhouse Dylan, a script from the original Roadhouse screenwriter. So Dylan, your thoughts on the forthcoming Roadhouse Dylan?
I mean, if you had said Roadhouse sequel, I would not have been, appealed towards it. But shit, if it's called Dylan, I mean, hey, maybe I'll have to check it out. I mean, shit,
It's meant to be. It's meant to be. Did anyone watch that Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, absolutely not.
None of us.
Only seen the original.
I just heard it was funny. Like, it just was, super absurd.
So, yeah, it's just wild, though, that he's going to be now working on a direct sequel to the original Roadhouse, apparently. And then the one that he did with Jake Gyllenhaal is going to get its own sequel, but he will not be a part of it at all. We'll see if that shakes out. Again, there has to be some sort of copyright issue or ownership issue with the script. So that's going to court. But Doug Liman apparently is adamant about getting his Roadhouse sequel. So I wish he were that adamant about doing like an Edge of Tomorrow sequel or continuation, but we will have to see how that shakes out. But in other news, Taylor Sheridan is leaving Paramount for Universal. There is a $1 billion deal where over a certain amount of years, he'll create 20 shows for NBC and Peacock, as well as there's a 5-year deal to produce movies for Universal. And that begins in 2026. The TV deal would be 2029. Of course, Taylor Sheridan is like just a production company of his own. I mean, I think every single Paramount original show, aside from a Star Trek one, is like Taylor Sheridan. So, yeah. I mean, Yellowstone, all 50 spinoffs of Yellowstone.
The Landman, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Landman.
Whatever that one is.
Billy Bob.
Yeah. So this man, very prolific and definitely a huge moneymaker, but Paramount apparently is letting him go. Except for one more movie. Taylor Sheridan will be partnering with Paramount for a Call of Duty adaptation.
Oh my God.
What? They had to call him back one last time.
What are they going to base the movie off of? Like, how many games are there?
Bro, have you played the games? It's about calls to duty, okay? Come on.
Oh my God. This
Come
guy
on.
over here.
Yeah,
it's just about soldiers, bro. They just go and they fight.
There is, like, actual stories, though. As a movie, it seems stupid. Well, whatever. said no. All right.
Video game adaptations are hot right now, bro. Very hot.
That's why they're doing it.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Again, they
Super
could have
hot.
had Steven Spielberg. He wanted to do and had pitched a Call of Duty adaptation, but they said no. We'll pass on Spielberg. And they got Taylor Sheridan writing it, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that man
Bro could do whatever
does
he
not
wants
stop
with
working.
that. He could do whatever he wants with that script now. He already knows it's his
Very
last
true.
project. He could do whatever he wants.
True.
You can go crazy.
Bro already got the paycheck and the release clause. Like he could just
For
write
real.
whatever he wants, and then call it
Exactly.
Call of Duty.
And
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery is, for sure, most definitely, up for sale. We have multiple offers from Paramount. We have Netflix officially working up on offer, and Apple is also circling. Everybody is vying to buy Warner Bros. Discovery after its legendary run of movies this year. Absolutely killing it at the box office, other than one battle after another. But for the most part, Warner Bros. Discovery killing it, as looking to be sold.
And now it's getting killed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Again, we talked about this in the rant I did a couple weeks ago, but it's just a shame. Like, this is terrible. I mean, we're talking, in this episode, we're talking about those classic Universal monsters, 100 years of legacy behind it. For Warner Brothers, I mean, it's the same thing. It's been around for so long, and now it's just going to be absorbed.
How does that work with
into-
HBO then? Are they not partnered with HBO or?
Well, yeah, HBO is Warner Brothers, and so we'll see,
okay.
like, if it's Paramount or Netflix or Apple. I mean, all those have streaming services. I don't know what they're going to do. HBO is a strong enough brand on its own. I mean, it is the pinnacle of television, so they would be wise to leave it alone. But we will see what they want to do. Obviously, they want to slap their own stuff on it. So
Nah, ain't nobody ever made a wise decision in this industry these days. Ain't nobody made a wise decision.
Yeah, he's
we
right.
just
sadly.
got HBO Max back.
Yeah,
they
we
made
did.
Max. We got HBO Max, and now they're going to change it.
Their brilliant change is to make it back to Max to get rid of the HBO branding.
Yeah, Ryan, it's a give and take. They change it back to HBO Max, but then they increase your monthly price. So it's a
of course,
win-lose at that point.
Ryan, did I tell you I never deleted my original HBO Max app off of my phone?
I haven't either.
And they changed the HBO because they just made it a whole new app for just Max. And then Max got rebranded back to HBO Max as opposed to creating a new one. Yeah, we both have
it. Yeah, I just keep forgetting to get rid of it.
I'm never gonna get rid of it. Sean and I both have both versions of HBO Max on our phone.
I also love when
I
love if you click on the wrong one, it just says we have a new app. It just tells you to get out.
And it'll redirect you to download Max, I think, still, as if that even exists. Maybe it won't even load anymore. It's just like struggling to load. It's just not a thing that exists anymore.
Yeah, that old one is on my PS4.
Just so chilling. Funny.
Hell yeah.
But
let's do our box office breakdown for October 24th to the 26th. In first place, Chainsaw Man, the movie, Rez Arc?
Reze.
Is it pronounced Rez? Reze Arc, 18 million.
So another big premiere for an anime film.
Huge.
So we'll see many more of those, I'm sure. And anime adaptations to the big screen. A lot of them have been Netflix series, but they'd be wise to start putting them in the theaters. I think Naruto is going to be a film, so we'll see how that goes. Regretting You, 13.6 million, the latest Colleen Hoover adaptation. Not quite as big of a hit as It Ends With Us, but solid double-digit debut.
Representing horror movies this weekend, Black Phone 2 with 12.9 million.
Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere with 8.8 million.
Tron Ares, a measly 4.9 million.
Good Fortune, 3.1 million.
Shelby Oaks, another horror film, 2.3 million.
One Battle After Another, 2.2 million.
Roofman, 2 million.
And rounding out the top 10, underneath $1 million, is Truth and Treason.
And our box office predictions for Halloween weekend, October 31st to November 2nd. Nothing. There's nothing really coming out.
They're like
Begonia. I think Begonia has like a limited release. Begonia's not really going to make much money anyway. That's kind of it. Nothing really big coming out Halloween weekend.
It's going to be another Chainsaw Man weekend, probably.
Yeah. They should honestly, all the theaters everywhere should just take this weekend and just if they're not going to drop anything new, just block out a bunch of like prime spots for old school horror films. We went to see Creature in the Black Lagoon in 3D, and that was like a half-packed theater. That's pretty good for a 70-year-old movie.
They probably are re-showing a lot like tonight and stuff. Probably they have to be.
I would hope so.
Yeah, if they're not, that'd be kind of sad.
I think they're showing Season of the Witch.
I think, that's the one for the Regal one. I think Twilight is back in theaters.
AMC.
I think Sinners is in IMAX this weekend.
Okay. See, they're making moves.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I think it's smart to bring Sinners back for the Halloween weekend.
Everything that came out this year, I think I'd agree.
So yeah.
Yep, they have Halloween 3 Season of the Witch playing at Regal. The new Strangers movie is still there, but nobody's gonna go see that. That hasn't already seen it. Sinners reissue.
Like horror movie that's like new that's out there is like Black Phone and Shelby Oaks. There's really no like horror movies.
It was kind of light this year. It was strange.
A bunch of them came out earlier in the year already,
or they come out in December, like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Yeah, they'll come out later in the year. Or they'll try and hit those peak isolated spots. They'll have a horror movie dropping in like Memorial Day weekend. They'll have one dropping in like Martin Luther King weekend. Predator, those 3 days that are usually like sometimes a little slower. They'll try and fill those spots with horror movies. And then in the summer too, they're trying to take away some stock from the other stuff. I guess for a while it was just so competitive in October for Halloween movies to release that it was harder to make money, and so they tried to spread out, and now there's nothing in October.
Yeah, there's more movies like the months after, like January, February. Like I remember a lot of like
in the beginning of the year we had Sinners, we had Final Destination, we had Weapons coming out earlier in the year. That came out in August.
Summer. Wasn't this year also 28 weeks years later?
Yeah, 28 years later in March. Yeah.
Which
they're just bringing them out weird times, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of weird horror movies during like the summer or early spring or stuff, not during the fall or like October. Kind of sad, but I'm still glad I saw them. So.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, let's dive into the horror movies from way back when, the classic Universal monsters. So, Sean, give us some insight into these classic Universal monsters. Like, when did you first watch these? Because these are, characters, right? Pop icons that have been around for so long. You see
Pop
Frankenstein, Dracula. Like, we've seen them pop up in a million different things. I mean, there's riffs of them in all sorts of cartoons and whatnot. So everyone knows Frankenstein, everyone knows Dracula, and then to a lesser extent, the other ones. I mean, we know of The Mummy, obviously, when we talk about the movie The Mummy, it's a different take on it than what most people imagine. But actually watching these classic old school movies, like, where in your horror fan journey did you go back and watch these?
I mean, so the thing is, I talked about previously on y'all's show before, is I've watched horror movies when I was like really, really young, but it was more like what my dad wanted to show me, because my dad, when he was a kid, he was actually shown these movies as a kid. This is what my dad watched as a kid, was the old black and white films. And that's what led to like the long going generation of, hey, if I show my kid these now, he ain't going to be scared in the future. But then they're just going to be scared right now instead. So my dad, like, as a kid, terrified of these movies, but fell in love with them. Like, if there's anything my dad will go back and rewatch ever, or like if like he could like live with like one set of movies forever that wasn't Alien, it would be the old movies here. He loves Boris Karloff. I think his favorite's Frankenstein. That's like his favorite movie, probably even of all time, besides Alien, like the original Boris Karloff Frankenstein. But he loves all his movies, and that's just where I got them from. Obviously, because of like modern age and like modern technology, they don't stick with me as much as certain films. But like growing up, I did grow to like love them and learn all about them. I'm actually currently reading Dracula right now too, because I just never read the book. But these movies have like a very nostalgia, like sentimental place in my heart, even if they don't mean as much to me as other horror films. But I still love like Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of my favorites. Same with The Invisible Man. But yeah, man, this goes way back. This goes back a generation for me, Ryan. A whole extra generation. So
it's in his blood.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. And then how about for you, Dylan?
I remember. I think my dad showed me the original Frankenstein, but other than that, mostly untouched. I have seen Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy, which is peak cinema. It's fantastic. Love Abbott and Costello. Other than that, I've only seen the original Frankenstein. I haven't really seen any of the other classic
So did you
monsters.
watch? Because they did a Frankenstein one too, did they not? Abbott and Costello
They
meet
did.
Frankenstein.
They did, but the only one I remember seeing is the Mummy.
Gotcha. Okay.
That one is like classic in my brain. I remember watching that because I think we rented it from Blockbuster or something.
Heck yeah.
You know, like old school shit.
Bring it back.
Dude, I'm saying it would be so sick. No, I think the extent of my horror knowledge kind of hits like the 60s and onward. Kind of. I don't really dabble in too much horror pre 60s, pre like Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist in the 70s. You know,
Great movies.
Yeah, tell me about it. That's kind of like where my horror knowledge kind of starts and picks up from those onward. And still, mine is very like a very limited knowledge. I only know like certain pop culture horror films and a couple of foreign films I've seen, but not even like a full extent of the best of foreign horror, like Japanese horror, Korean horror, things like that. I don't know. I think it's about time that I went back and watched some of these older ones just to kind of get like a basis of where it started. Watch these. Watch Fritz Lang's M, which I should have watched in college, but I skipped that day in class. Watch what's Haitian Hashan. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Haxan. OG horror film from the 20s, 1920s, 100 years ago. Over 100 years old nowadays.
Hey, congratulations.
I hear that's a pretty good classic silent horror film. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, you know about
Perhaps-
that movie? Oh my god.
That's like the prototype for the
You
big
just-
film nerd.
Yeah, you
Is
just like
loving
unlocked-
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Just
Yeah.
unlocked like a memory for me for that. Like I remember talking about that with my dad. I have not heard that spoken in years. That's crazy.
That is the prototype of like the film nerd is liking Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, you know?
Yeah.
No, I think my horror really starts with I guess maybe Psycho is probably the earliest. It's 1960.
So still black and white.
Psycho is
though.
probably like my beginning of horror film is Psycho and onward.
That starts with
And
slashers.
it makes sense
too.
because I think slashers are indeed my favorite of the subgenres of horror. I am a huge slasher fan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I will say, very enjoyable watching these old monster movies. Huge fan of werewolf movies personally, and I've never seen the original Wolfman, so
You have
I'll have to cross that off one day. And I'm a big fan of these kind of like themings of like creating that monster and how it's created and kind of the personal journey that it symbolizes each creature goes on, you know, very similar
Mhm.
tropes a lot of the times. Really love like the 90s Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Looking forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein because I've read the Frankenstein
Absolutely.
book and
very
I
good.
fuck with it. I fuck with the original Frankenstein book. I need to reread it because I haven't read it in almost 10 years, but I do remember fucking with it. No, that's probably been my experience. I like the idea of the Invisible Man, but I've never seen anything about the Invisible Man, you know?
Have you at least seen the photo of what he looks like? Because he's not
Yeah.
invisible. You know that, right?
Well, because he's like
He
clothed
looks
up,
more
he
like
can
the
be
mummy,
visible.
but in a suit.
Yeah.
Like he's just completely
100%.
wrapped, and he has like the shades on, and he's just
He looks
the
awesome.
invisible man. Yeah, he's great. He's so great. He's one of the earlier ones too. He's like the 30s,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Indeed.
That's
So,
pretty
yeah.
much all I got.
Well, all right. Yeah, for me, again,
Yeah, where did yours
obviously-
start, Ryan?
right here, right now, this past week, is familiarity with, you know, again, these characters. You know, it's impossible not to, but actually going back and watching the movies, just since I never had a big horror, you know, bend, as you all know, I never felt compelled to do that. Also, I mean, we say like these are horror films. I mean, I guess back in the day, sure, some people were getting spooked out by this, but obviously at this point, you know, this is
Yeah,
like nothing. I mean, a 4-year-old couldn't get scared by some of this stuff, I don't think.
Ryan, they were actually in the Amazon in the creature from Black Lagoon. That was the Amazon.
There was
It
a
was
real
real, Ryan.
creature that they filmed, yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't a guy in a suit. That's why it looks so real.
Yeah.
He He was just high all the time though. That's why he never blinked. He just had the
Yeah.
blank
Yeah.
Yeah, that
expression.
face when he was in the cage, that was actually the creature. That wasn't the guy in the suit making that face.
Yeah. But even if it's not scary to us, like the imagery that they evoke becomes iconic and is then later inspiring and manipulated by future generations to become like terrifying images. Like there's a lot of like things that I can relate to in these 30s films. Maybe not so much The Creature from the Black Lagoon, but the ones in the 30s that we're going to talk about that I can definitely see where it would go on to inspire a lot of other horror creators. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's also like back then too, like film was so not like new, but it was just so like you could like make anything and it'd be original
Mhm.
kind of thing, you know what I mean? So if you don't read like the books and you go see whatever Dracula is, you're just gonna think it's like real or like that this story like happened or like it can happen to you. It's like nowadays, if you watch a movie for the first time, you don't know anything about it, especially as like a young like kid or teenager, like you don't know what real is. So to them it's like wow, how did they do this? This is actually scary kind of thing. Same thing like when you watch Jaws for the first time, people were terrified of Jaws, but now it's like fake shark, like you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, for sure. But definitely, and we'll talk about how they achieved some of the stuff because even to this day, some of the stuff they were able to pull off with the practical effects was
Amazing,
incredible,
Mhm.
amazing.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
so, obviously, back then, without 100 years of the rest of cinema that built off of it, it would be mind blowing and definitely would leave an impact. Even if it isn't again like being scared out of your
Yeah.
boots, it would be being amazed of like, oh, this is incredible what I'm seeing on screen. So definitely some amazing achievements there. Learning a bit about the classic Universal monsters. This was our first, cinematic franchise, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The
MonsterVerse, yeah.
Universal Monster Extended Universe. I mean, they
Mhm.
were
Mhm.
having crossovers.
Extended.
They were having Abbott and Costello parody
Yeah.
movies that were
Yeah.
canon. Like this is crazy, and they reused a lot of actors here and there, so it got kind of funky sometimes. I guess
Boris.
we're having that now with RDJ as Doctor
Yeah.
Doom, but they had at one point Boris Karloff became like Frankenstein, like the creator or like a creator type
Mhm.
figure in one of the later movies. Like this
Yeah.
is wild.
They
Um,
they made their own Abbott Costello meet the killer Boris Karloff movie. They literally made a movie about that, and it's actually
Sick.
pretty funny.
so yeah, so a lot of history here. Again, we'll just talk about a few of those films, but so it's Frankenstein. Dracula was the one that kicked it off,
Mhm.
and also 1931, right?
I
And
think
then
so.
Well, there's some older
there
ones in
was
that one, but that's the one that's like the mainstream one. Like that's like the big one.
Yeah.
Because like
yeah,
like the
Bela Lugosi.
original Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, like those were before Dracula. But Dracula was the big one that caught everyone's eye.
yeah. Like when they think, well, I guess so. Who's at the Dark Universe or the classic monsters
It's
at Epic
Dracula, yeah.
Universe? We got Dracula, Frankenstein,
No.
Mummy, Invisible Man, Wolfman,
Creature from
the
the Black Lagoon.
Creature.
I'd probably say that's kind of it. Sometimes the Invisible Man,
Mhm.
depending on
Sometimes they
Sometimes
count Hunchback.
Phantom of the
yeah,
Opera,
sometimes
and
they do. Yeah.
I think they did a horror house where Hunchback was one of them when they went to France, right?
Mm,
It was
yeah.
Phantom of the Opera,
Oh,
Invisible
and Jekyll and
Man.
Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde was
Oh,
in there.
Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what happened with that Dark Universe from like 2019, man?
Dude, I don't
The
know.
Mummy
that's
flopped in
what's
2017, and they had set up like they had. I remember they took like cast photos of what the Dark Universe was going to be. It was like Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man. Russell Crowe was Jekyll and Hyde. Tom Cruise was in
The
the
Mummy.
Mummy.
He became the Mummy.
There
Wasn't
was
there like
like
a teaser for Dracula at the end of one of those? At the end of the Mummy as well, or was it
I
like
don't know,
wasn't there
but
like a Frankenstein teaser?
they were setting it up, and I'm like, if you guys could execute an extended universe of like Dark Universe where they're kind of interlapping, that'd be kind of cool. I'd
That'd be
be
sick.
down.
Yeah, too bad the Mummy
But I heard the
flopped.
Mummy was really bad. I did not watch Tom Cruise's The Mummy. I've only seen the Brendan Fraser one and then this one and Abbott and Costello. And those are the ones I think I'll ever need to see. Although I think Sean would advocate for Scorpion King.
I mean, dude, it's great.
I've heard it's good.
It's great. The trilogy of the Mummy is great. Well, it's not all great,
Sure.
but it's great.
yeah, interesting how they weren't able to really recapture that magic. That's the
They
thing
made
too.
it.
I mean,
They made an action movie.
these characters, like the archetypes, get reused so often. Now a lot of them, they're in public domain and whatnot. So it's not just Universal that's doing their own
Mm.
spins on the characters. So we see like new vampire films come out every couple years. We have
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
yes.
We have The Bride the next year. The Invisible
That's
Man. There
good,
was
man.
one that came out
There
right
was
before
there
the
was a
pandemic.
it was pretty good actually. I actually like it a
Wolfman
lot.
earlier this year or last year. Wolfman.
last year, I think.
Yeah, it was January. It was like real. It was the first movie I saw this year.
Yeah.
Wolfman or Wolfman. That was okay, just okay.
I'm looking forward to Robert Eggers' Werewolf.
Oh yeah, he did good with Nosferatu, so
Yeah,
I
just give
really
him
liked it.
the
Honestly,
have him create
hold
his
on,
own little
an idea,
A24 universe.
and then
Give him each one, yeah.
have them mix it, and then have it all mix in, and they all meet at the lighthouse, and then and then they can just all go away again.
If I had a steak, I'd fuck it.
And then he just turns into Frankenstein or something.
All right, let's dive into Frankenstein, the 1931 version. So
Good.
y'all had both seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Revisiting it this time around, what y'all think?
Still slaps.
Yeah, just as great.
Still
It's-
bangs.
Love my boy Boris Karloff.
It's definitely a little slower than I remember, and I'm like, after watching Creature from the Black Lagoon, I'm shocked by how little there is music in this film. I think there's almost none.
Yeah,
Which
That-
for a horror film, like music is very impactful.
I
So
didn't-
like the leaning into like the silence and just like a little bit of sound effects is a wild choice, even for 1931.
That's one element, like rewatching all these old films, where I'm like, they're all very short, right? They're all like 70 minutes.
yeah. I didn't realize how
They
short this
feel-
one was.
They feel long. They feel
do
very
feel
long.
long. The
And
pacing's pretty bad.
part of it is that pacing, and then it's also there's just so many moments where it's just dead air. Like the
Mhm.
music is missing a lot of the time.
They
And then
just have like a hand that's reaching for a person, and it's just like reaching and reaching and reaching, and it's like supposed to be suspenseful. And I'm like, give me some. I just like it's
Yeah,
because
we
I
need the
know it's
music
not gonna result in anything graphic. It's just gonna be like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a guy off camera going oh, and then he's gonna be dead like 5 minutes later, and it's gonna be like him pretending to be like Ryan. You and I could have made a movie of similar horror caliber when we were like 5 years old.
yeah.
Yeah, you just need the budget at that point, but yeah, you definitely could have, honestly.
So yeah, when they have to be more suggestive, and you're not going to get thrills from actually seeing a creature tear someone open or any of this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely help to utilize all the tools like music or just more broad sound design, so that again it's not just like dead air. Like give us at least something. Like let us feel more of the world.
Which I think Creature from the
build
Black
the
Lagoon
suspense.
did a good job when we get there.
It did better. But
Frankenstein, the older film, a lot slower. Definitely more of a vision. It's like coming off of the silent era where they weren't even concerned with music, and so they're just really trying to nail those visuals. And I think they do a pretty damn good job. I think the castle looks great. I think a lot of the grave digging looks fantastic. And then
the painted sets here in Frankenstein, like all those backgrounds, they looked gorgeous.
They just
the
also
chase on the rocks where they're hunting down Frankenstein at the very end.
That's
looks
pretty
fantastic.
good.
And then the two creme de la cremes, the animation sequence and the windmill burning sequence.
The windmill burning sequence is very, very good, especially for the 30s. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that one went great. And then many of those iconic moments, you've seen 1,000 times anywhere else. Like when he first appears, walks in backwards, and then turns around. Again, the look, it's become iconic for a reason. Like it just looks incredible. Those like bolts sticking out of him look great.
The little like stitch on his head.
Just the way his skull is like shaped too. There's just like not quite how it normally would be, and so it like speaks to the fact like he's just some creature that was stitched together. Like all of that worked extremely well. And there's a shot too. They like did like 2 punch-ins on his face. And it was good. Like that was one of the moments where I'm like,
anytime in any of these movies where they punch in on Boris Karloff, it's gonna look good.
And so that stuff looked great. And there's
that man
always
had
a
a
risk,
face like no other.
It can be goofy at times, but that one
hard.
like it had the intended impact. So that was great. The other element about Frankenstein, this movie, which I did like, was, and actually there's a thread throughout all of these, which is like researchers or scientists that are pushing the envelope, like going way too far in their scientific exploration, and then it, bites them in the butt.
And they die.
Here, obviously, they're pulling from the themes of the book of like he's trying to play God and create life, And so those conversations I think are fun and interesting. I will say, this is nothing like Frankenstein. Like in the back half, especially, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not what I remember of the
It
book.
definitely is
Which
not.
again was a surprise because I go into the book and then, again you have all the like iconography of the films, and they're like, oh, this is totally different. Like Frankenstein is this like very well spoken, intelligent, mature creature that's like very
Yeah.
self aware and just like like I've
In this
been
one,
given
he's
life.
going.
Yeah, he doesn't speak at all. So
Just
very
big lung
different.
that's scared of fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he throws a girl in the water.
Just drives a
and
girl,
runs
yeah.
away.
I had no. I was like,
You
what?
didn't know that happened? Dude, that's like
No.
the
You know,
iconic
yeah.
moment for me in the movie.
And
Yeah.
then the guy's like carrying her into town, and like no one's doing anything as he's just walking with a little girl.
But that
in his
scene,
hand.
I thought that was such a great scene because it
is.
taps into what was in the book. Is like always like again, he's like able to be like gentle, and everyone else sees him as a monster. But if you don't have that initial reaction to him, then you can see like, oh, he's like friendly, he's lost, like he just wants some help and some companionship.
Fun to play.
And so he's having the sweet moment, like throwing the little flowers so that he
Mhm.
float. And then he picks up the girl to throw her in.
Just throws her in.
And then he
And
runs immediately.
I was like, oh, that's funny. And then she'll be like, what's wrong with you? I guess she cannot swim. She was gone. she
Nah,
and she
bro.
can't hold her breath to float either, apparently. So she was gone. That was the one part where like it was a weird shot. I guess I don't know. They weren't able to show like her flailing in the water or whatever, but we just see him like crouched down, kind of reaching, but not like going in or anything. And then he runs away, and I'm like, wait, does that mean she's just dead? And it sure did. She was straight up gone. I was like, that's crazy. And then that, because you see all the stuff about the mob attacking and whatnot. At that point, I'm like, well, okay, I understand. Like Frankenstein, he was put in a bad place. It was unfortunate. He obviously didn't mean to hurt the girl, but I'm like,
I think you mean
there's just no way to
Frankenstein's
come back from that.
monster.
Frankenstein's monster, yeah. So tough, very tough situation for him.
Hey man, he didn't ask to be born, all right.
That's true.
No one
Yeah,
taught
he
him
was-
anything.
I'm
He's a
saying, man.
victim.
He got rejected off rip once he was brought to life.
What's your guys' favorite Frankenstein adaptation of all the ones you've seen? There's been a couple. There's been this one. They've got the Robert De Niro one.
Don't they? I don't remember. I don't remember liking a lot. What was that one really bad one called? Like I Frankenstein.
Yeah, I heard
That
about
one
that
was
one. That was from the
awful.
2000s, I think.
Bro, it was awful. They made him like a
2010s
super. They
maybe.
made him a superhero or something. It was awful. He could like jump really high and like. Oh god, it was bad.
Me personally, best Frankenstein adaptation, Young Frankenstein, 100%. Bro,
Have I seen the
Perfect.
movie version of that? I don't even know if I've seen it. I know about
perfect adaptation. It is
Yeah.
fantastic. It's Gene Wilder. It's a comedy. It's incredible. So good. If you watch this one and you go
it.
straight
I
into
don't
that
need to
one,
watch that. I don't think I've seen that actually.
go watch it. Oh my God, Sean! It is
Young
the best
Frankenstein?
Frankenstein adaptation. Ryan, thoughts on Young Frankenstein?
Haven't seen it.
What? You guys.
Hold on. I'm looking.
You
it
think
up.
these movies
Yeah.
are great. Wait until you see the comedy versions of them, okay? Because Young Frankenstein and Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy are even better than the originals.
I've seen every Abbott and Costello film. I understand the comedy behind
you
them.
Oh my God.
But I
so
don't remember. I know of Young Frankenstein. I just don't think I've ever seen it. Oh, Mel Brooks.
Oh
is in it.
my God, dude. Yeah, it's a Mel Brooks movie. Yeah. It is so good.
Madeline Kahn's in it. Gene
Yeah.
Hackman.
It's great.
I might watch it tonight.
Interesting.
You should. It is fan-fucking-tastic.
It's almost 2 hours.
It's so faithful to the original film. It's beautiful.
All right, then maybe I will. Because I was gonna say I think the OG is still the best because it's just like that's definitely nostalgia though. But I just can't think of a good Frankenstein movie I've seen. I've seen movies based off Frankenstein. Like the
How about
story, but it's not Frankenstein.
Frankenweenie?
Oh, dude.
Hold on, wait, that's pretty good. That's it, Ryan. Great shout, actually.
Dude,
Hold on.
Frankenweenie.
That was actually a really good movie. Hold on.
How hype are you guys for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein?
Very.
I am hyped for it.
I'm
pretty good.
definitely
I
hyped for
loved
it.
the novel, and I'm very curious to see what he does with it. Especially,
Supposed to be more faithful. Similar to the Robert De Niro
Definitely.
version from the 90s, but I hear that one's kind of bad.
I think from my memory, it's not that great, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But that one's supposed to be more faithful. Like, Robert De Niro plays the monster, and he can speak and talk and things like that. And Kenneth Branagh is Frankenstein.
Do we know
And
when
I think
it
he
comes
follows the
out?
novel a little bit more faithfully.
The new
Guillermo
one?
del Toro's, I think it's in theaters now, limited, or soon limited.
October
I think it's on
17th is the
Netflix.
most recent. Is it on Netflix? Oh, sorry, Dylan. I have to
It's
watch
going
it.
to be on Netflix at least. Is it already on
At what
Netflix?
time? Or is this supposed to be like a holiday thing? I feel like I've been
I'm looking
seeing
it up.
a lot of stuff about it, so I think it may have dropped.
I do not want to
Or
watch
is
Love Is Blind. I want to watch Frankenstein. Oh yeah,
imminently
it's there.
dropping.
It's there. Oh wait, no, it's
It's
not.
out?
Hold on. No, November
No.
7th, next week.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
next
it was
week.
next week. Yep.
There we go.
I like the light. I like the hoodies.
But yeah, I'm interested to see it. I've heard some mixed things though, so I don't know how.
At the very least,
Yeah,
I've heard
I'm
from
excited.
everybody that has seen it, all the reviews I've read, that it is like a visual feast, which all of his movies
But
are.
that's what,
Which
yeah,
is,
and that's what they said about Nosferatu. Like people thought like Nosferatu was like the new one was like
yeah,
kind of like a sloggy like bore fest, but it looked amazing. But I think it
I could
was
see
great
that.
all around. So I gotta make my own opinion.
I liked it. I didn't love it particularly, but I really liked it, and it was an absolute visual treat. Oh my
I'm
god,
that
dude!
was
The shot of the woods where the camera pans around
yes,
to the carriage and the
yes,
carriage
it's
opens
so
up.
good.
Oh,
If I could relive any moment from last year, it would probably be that because that was beautiful.
yeah! I
And
came
not
in my
much happened
pants
last
watching
year.
that. It was crazy.
Okay, maybe we can.
Huge mess in the theater.
Sean
Did
was
not
like,
see the
"All
rest
right,
of the
weirdo,
movie.
what are you doing?"
Well, I did see it with like
Did not-
five other
did not
friends,
watch
so
the
if
rest
I
of the
did
film.
that, then I would be like very weird. But if I was by myself, maybe I would agree with Dylan.
Sometimes you
Um,
can't help it.
Nosferatu was, in fact, incredible. Yeah, I wasn't
Oh,
too
yeah.
big a fan of it. We talked about it. I mean, maybe next time we do maybe the other half of the Universal Monsters, if we revisit the original
Let's make
Dracula,
our
we can
own
see
Universal monster
how I
with
feel.
modern movies.
Let's do it, guys.
So we got Nosferatu, the new really bad Mummy with Tom Cruise. We have the
Mhm.
new Frankenstein coming out.
Werewolf.
Yeah, about to say, Dylan, you picked the werewolf movie.
Werewolf.
Okay. Invisible Man. Listen, we got it going. We can make a new universe.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they've made the movies already. They just are not tied together in any way.
Nah,
They have
just-
like
they need
even
a
though Dark
Thanos.
Universe has been abandoned, they have adapted pretty much. Someone has adapted pretty much all these characters, except for Creature from the Black Lagoon.
So I'm telling you, man, we need a Thanos.
Has
figure.
never been touched since the 50s, pretty
Bring-
much.
bring
Shape
all
of
the-
Water. Del
Oh
Toro.
my god, he's
He
right.
did it himself.
Yes!
Oh my god.
That is
I'm gonna hang
genius,
myself.
Ryan. The Creature
It
from the
is
Black
Shape of
Lagoon,
Water.
but just in a tube, and it's a love
It
story.
is Shape of Water. Shape of Water is Creature from the Black Lagoon. You're so right, dude.
That's his whole
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
they're
you can
done.
see
They've done
all the inspirations
Mission
Well, they're about
he
to.
has from like these classic
Werewolf has not come out.
Werewolf is the last
Universal
one.
Monsters
End on a bang.
movies. I mean, literally, his whole
and then they'll
thing
bring
was
in
he
whatever
was like,
the-
I
they'll-
liked the creature. He shouldn't have died. I wanted him to get with the girl, and so he's like, let me make a movie about that. Like, let's see what
And then
happens.
Dylan, to wrap it all together, make the universe like Thanos did with Marvel. They bring back Abbott and Costello.
Yes.
Just AI animate them.
Oh God.
And it's just them going over all the movies we just mentioned, like their own interpretation of it.
Yeah, they
Their
bring
own
back
version of Shape of Water.
they bring back Bill Skarsgård. What are you doing in my castle, Costello?
The thing from The Shape of Water falls in love with Abbott instead.
They swim around together in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. I would see that in a heartbeat. I really would.
That would be golden for sure.
Any
right.
other comments on Frankenstein?
I
so
don't
good. It's a
think
classic.
so. Why is the main guy not named? It's Victor Frankenstein. Why is
Victor
that dude
von
named?
Frankenstein.
He's Henry. It's Henry.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know.
What
Sometimes
did
they
he-
change that shit, bro. Why is his name Nosferatu?
But
not
their other
Dracula?
guy is named Victor, and it's
That's
like, why?
isn't that, what is that? The German, Austrian name of it? What is it?
Mm.
Because Dracula was the English version, I think, and I think
Dracula.
Nosferatu is the original. I think it's the Austrian version, which is the original.
I don't know. Maybe
And it's the same
maybe
name?
Henry is English for Victor. I
Frankenstein.
don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, not sure
That's
about
out of my
Something lost
my
in
book.
translation. My name is Victor. Did you say Henry? Victor. That guy's Henry over there.
So,
Everyone's set debating.
how many torches carried by the mob out of 5?
John?
3.5. Because I think it's a
Wow.
classic. It's a classic, and I think it's the most like if I were to show someone an old like classic monster movie, I say it's either this or Dracula. I think there's some that I like more, and I think there's some that are worse that we'll talk about. But I think for the most middle of the road, like just a good like watch, and it's the shortest one technically. It won't feel it, but it is. I think that's like it's just great. I have no complaints about it, but I can't give it
Okay.
higher than some other ones. So 3.5.
I'm gonna give it 4. I enjoy it. I think it's iconic. And I think there are just too many great little scenes. I think Boris Karloff is too good to give it anything
Mm-hmm.
less than a 4. Ryan?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
I give it 3.5 torches.
All right.
Again, I think I agree with you 100% with Boris Karloff. We talked about some of the things I liked about it that tied in with the source material. Again, just visually though, like they nailed it. There's a lot of great shots in here. There's like this one like tracking shot of uh the wife, like when she's walking through with the long dress, like the long veil. And then he's following her, like that looked great. When they're up
Mm-hmm.
in the windmill, it's like Frankenstein and the monster, and they like stand there at the wheel that's turning and they're looking
Yeah.
through the bars at each other.
Oh, dude, so good.
That looked incredible. So there's a lot of great filmmaking that's involved here. So like, yeah, it's had slow for
Yeah.
our modern expectations, but there's a lot to love about it for sure. So
Frankenstein is just like out of all the classics has just that bit of everything. Because like when we talked about Creature, which we'll talk about later, like the dialogue was such a miss for us, but the visually was amazing. Whereas when we talk about the Mummy, you'll see stuff. I think Frankenstein just has that bit of everything. The only thing it does lack, in my opinion, is pace. So like it's just like a good watch for like anyone, unless they
Yeah.
just really cannot sit there and watch a movie kind of thing. So
This is what's really unfortunate about these classic monster movies from the 30s is that I don't think it's like an epidemic of the time that it's paced slow because there are movies from the 30s that I think are paced very well and have like very exciting moments and actually do kind of scare me a little bit. Like I think The Blue Angel is a good example of that from
mm,
1930, I think.
mm.
Like they exist. They're out there. I know I think The Lady Vanishes, the original ones from the 30s, The Five Steps, Hitchcock
Mhm.
has a couple from that era. They are out there. They are paced well and they're exciting and they're not very long either. So I'm just confused why the few that I've seen from the 30s have been so particularly slow that it takes 70 minutes and turns into 2.5 hours.
It just has to be that style though, like because when you get a hit, like you want to continue that hit. So I feel like when they got that hit of Dracula, because that was like the one that did start
Mhm.
a lot. When they go making these stories, it's like because like you see Boris Karloff's in almost all of them, and they use a lot of similar people. So they're like, this one was a hit, we got to keep this going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I can be
And this
completely wrong.
is yeah, this is also like appealing to a generation of people who their previous form of entertainment was like stage plays that are like 3 hours long. So a 70-minute film like
True.
this is probably like a roller coaster to them, bro. They're probably like racing along in the theater watching these things, going, "Oh my god, that was the most
They
exciting thing I've
probably
ever seen
wanted
in my life!"
more, yeah, back then.
Right? They're like, "Oh my god, that felt like 2 seconds. That was crazy." Because they're so used to watching people just chit chat on stage for 3 hours and being thrilled by that. And for us, it's like I don't know. I can scroll on TikTok for like 5 seconds and see like a
The
million
whole movie.
a million different things. Yeah, you can scroll through a whole movie on TikTok in like 30 seconds. Or honestly, you can just go watch Speed in theaters. That's 2 hours and it just doesn't fucking stop. Keanu Reeves on a bus just keeps going and going and going.
very true. And then eventually a train or a subway. But yeah, I think I think you just have to get used to it. You have to meet the movie on its
Yeah.
terms, and then
Yeah,
it can be strong
over
and
100
live
years
up,
old too.
or
hmm
it can falter a bit and not quite hit the mark, which
Oh, it's
I
almost
think
100
was
years
the
old actually.
case
Yeah.
with The Mummy.
Yeah.
Dumb
These movies
mummy.
were definitely more fun when I was younger. Like when I was like 12, they were just more exciting, I guess. Because I was so used to watching cartoons, I was finally watching something like newer, I guess.
Adulty kind
Like
of
a yeah,
like.
kind of adult themed, kind of more intelligent. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. At the time, I was watching a bunch of old stuff because my dad was making me watch it. So I watched like Gilligan's Island. I watched the original Get Smart show. I watched the Abbott and Costello movies. I watched Frankenstein. I just was watching like old stuff, and there was something like warm and fuzzy about watching something pre 1960s that is like black and white, has that sort of crinkly sound to the audio.
Love it.
It like
So
rubs me the
good.
right way. I love it,
Mhm.
and I I don't know. I think I will always have a fondness for those kinds of films, even if they are paced slowly. Like what Ryan said, The Mummy, which is
Oh,
indeed
oh
a very
God.
very slow paced film, much slower than
Yeah.
Frankenstein. There's almost no action in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, there's like less iconic imagery than usual in these films, which is kind of crazy because it's the Mummy. You'd think that the Mummy would stand out, but he's really only wrapped up like the Mummy at the very beginning and the very end. It's just a very, very different approach than what we've seen, but
Mhm.
also low key, it just reminds me of the story for Dracula, but just set in Egypt. I'm not even gonna lie
And
to
it
you.
pretty much is
Yeah,
kind of. It's just
that's
not
all right.
as it's more human-y than fantastical
Yeah,
because Dracula is more of a little bad guy, little vampire bad guy, and
mhm.
then you just got a guy wrapped in toilet paper walking around with like a curse
That's
on him.
right. That's right. What do you think of the Mummy, Sean?
Okay, I love the Mummy, but I think that's just again, I think that's even more nostalgia bait than Frankenstein because the Mummy has like good other movies, so it like reminds me of the Mummy, like the old The Mummy. But like rewatching it, it's just not as good as I remember. And I think that's very, very funny because rewatching Frankenstein, I remembered it so well. Rewatching The Mummy, I did not remember almost any of that. So
Hmm.
when you all talk about how much of a slow burn it is, it really is a slow burn, and it's like the same length. Maybe it was slightly longer than Creature from the Black
It's still
Lagoon.
like 70 minutes.
Yeah,
They're
but
all
it's
about
just
the
that
same.
that one to me felt long. Like I remember checking the
Mhm.
time during that movie, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Wow,
I just
what?"
finished it like a couple hours ago, and I was checking the time like 5 times. Which, if I'm checking the time 5 times in a 70-minute movie, that's
Mhm.
crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I wasn't like bored, but I was just kind of like, I feel like I've been watching this forever.
I was waiting for something to happen, I
Not and
guess,
nothing does.
and nothing really
Well, what
quite
happens
happened.
is he starts speaking something, and then they all just have like a heart attack. Is what happens. That's what happens in this movie. Heart attacks. That's it. But
Yeah,
it's still a classic to me. Like I don't have a problem with it. And look what spawned from it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta get something wrong to get something right. If I mean, I don't know. I wasn't alive back then, so I can't tell you how well the reception got from it. But it got plenty of movies after it.
Yeah, Brian, what did you think?
it had plenty of like direct Mummy sequels. The
It
Mummy
did.
Return.
Yeah, it did. It had a lot of Mummy sequels, but also like I'm saying, like it had like more Mummy movies after, regardless of like sequels to it.
I
And the Mummy sequels
see.
are probably better. So
Interesting. Yeah, for me, I gotta say, I actually went to go see it in theaters. It was that
Mhm.
next day after we had seen the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
mm-hmm.
I happened to
Was that also
finish
in
up
3D?
at UCF. It was not, but I
Oh,
finished up at UCF and
That'd
then
been a waste of time if it was.
went over there to catch the late showing. Very few people, by the way. Like the Creature from the Black Lagoon definitely had the best turnout, I would say. Of
I think the 3D had
The
a big draw
3D
to it.
had
I'm
to.
not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
about to say the same thing.
um, but there was a period of time where I was nodding off, like I was going in and out of sleep a little bit. And again, it
Hmm.
was late. Black and white movies, just in general, for whatever reason, have like a more, I don't know, like lulling effect to them. I feel like if
Really,
you're
I find them
very,
so calming. I love a good black and white movie, like an
well, yeah,
older
I'm saying,
one.
but too
Bro,
calming,
put on Casablanca.
will put you asleep. I mean, I'll
I
never fall
love
asleep at
Casablanca,
Casablanca.
bro.
I love that movie. That's
Ryan and I
one of
saw
my favorites of all
Casablanca
time.
in theaters, and we fell in love watching that movie.
We sure did. It was the beginning of a beautiful romance, apparently. So,
Heyo,
Damn,
ew.
here's looking
that's
at you,
crazy.
So
kid.
the we'll always have Paris. So the Mummy, when I was watching it in theaters, I was like thinking of what am I gonna eat when I get out of here? I was thinking of can I stay awake? I'm like, am I gonna have to
That's a bad
rewatch this?
sign.
And then that's what compelled me to be like, all right, I gotta sit up straight. I gotta, I'm like, because I don't
I
want to
gotta lock
rewatch the
in.
portions that I miss.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
rough.
definitely not a good sign. So there are
Mm-hmm.
parts to it. Again, the whole like overzealous researchers, I like that angle, but that sort of got dropped fairly quickly. The Boris Karloff
Mm-hmm.
stuff, like what they do with when he is very mummified, that's pretty cool, especially when he perishes at
Very,
the end.
yeah,
I like
very
that.
intense mummification as well. Very like that guy was wrapping him up, bro. Like
Mhm.
almost punching him in the face while he was wrapping him.
I like a lot of the aesthetics of this film, but I don't like the follow through on the plot. It's just I don't really know
Yeah,
why. I don't know how this woman and the young doctor meet. I don't really know why they fall in love, other than they just think each other are hot. I guess. I guess it's how you kind of
That's
fall in love
exactly what it
in the
is.
30s. I guess I can excuse it a little bit because it's how you meet somebody in the 30s. You just think each other are hot, and then you date, or you're just arranged marriage.
Yeah, it's
But
it's literally that love at first sight classic where they just introduce the two main
Yeah.
characters and they just like stare at each other and you hear music play for like 20
In general,
seconds.
I like the concept of her character being one that is embodying both herself and her ancestor, and they are conflicted with one another about whether to die and to live, and then ultimately choosing to want to live as this human version as opposed to dying and being reanimated as the mummy. But they don't really lean into that until the last like 10 minutes, and I'm like, that's to me the only part of this movie I thought was compelling, was seeing that like internal conflict with her character as she struggles against the whims of the mummy itself,
Yeah.
and it's just like barely in the rest
It's
of the
just
movie.
not about the mummy though, too. That's the thing. If
Yeah,
you look at this movie, it's not about. It's called the mummy, but it's not even about the mummy.
with the mummy being a horny ass motherfucker, which is, I guess you could say the same thing about Nosferatu. It's the same. It's almost the same plot as Dracula, pretty much.
All the monsters are just horny. That's how we get to where we
That's
are.
It's
true.
literally
Yeah.
like
Creature from Black Lagoon, bro.
he's an
Look at that guy.
undead being. He finds his wife from the past now living alive in a reincarnated version and is trying to seduce her into being his wife again. It's literally just Dracula, but they made it Egypt,
Yeah.
which is
Indeed.
fine, I guess, but just not done as well as any other Dracula movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Right.
even the OG movie Dracula's pretty good. So
And as you know, I don't even like any of the Dracula movies that much. And
It's
so
true.
which
this
just makes
one
me very
was
sad.
a bit of a
Ryan
miss.
does not like horny ass old people.
But
Apparently,
that's
Ryan
fair.
saw
That's
Cocoon
fair to
and
not
keep it in your
like.
pants, y'all. Keep it in your pants, geezer.
Ryan does not like Cocoon, not at all.
So I think, yeah, the Mummy was a bit of a miss. There's some parts I like in the Egyptian setting. It's cool. Some of the sets
Yeah,
I enjoyed. Some of the stuff I don't know were all that great or well rendered or even accurately rendered. Like what was going on with some of the costumes there.
bro, it
What
looked
was
like
it on their heads? Was that
it
supposed
looked
to be
like
like
cartoonish,
It
bally
was very
caps?
cartoonish.
like if you went to a costume store and looked up generic Egyptian costume is what you would find,
That's
like
exactly
Yeah.
stereotype, borderline racist Egyptian costume that they're wearing. You look at Frankenstein and you're like, I guess they took some creative liberties from the book, but they're still like creating an iconic original image out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mummy, and the same thing with Creature from the Black Lagoon is like they're putting in a lot of good prosthetics on this thing to make it look really cool. Dracula is definitely like a vibe. The Invisible Man definitely has a lot of aesthetics to him. And then you look at
Yeah.
the mummy, and it's like, where's the cheapest Egyptian costumes we could possibly find?
Yeah, there's really
Disappointing.
they don't do much like technically with it either. Like even like the set work, I was just kind of like it's really bland from like what they tried to do. Because I even like when I rewatched it, I just remember I thought it looked a lot better than I thought it did. And I was like, I guess this like the Egyptian like area and like the setting where they're like inside like the tombs and stuff. I was like, I mean, it looks fine, but I wasn't. I remember being more impressed as a kid, I guess, than I was now. I just don't remember it as well. I
Yeah.
think is what it was.
Oh well. A lot of interesting ideas, some not so interesting ideas.
They get better.
Not really any kind of good execution.
There's better
Out of
movies
this
out there if you
Yeah,
really
and you just
watch
don't care
like,
for
The
any of
Mummy.
the characters that much. Like I was just not
Pretty much.
plugged in, not invested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But how many empty tombs out of 5 for this
I
one?
think this one 1.5.
Dang.
Bro did not like it.
Hardcore.
It's pretty tough.
I'm
It was,
giving
it, was,
it
it was a rough watch.
I'm giving it a 2.
I was also giving
So
it a
not
2.
quite as harsh, but yeah, definitely not
Also
great.
a 2, because Dylan, if we didn't have this, we would never gotten your favorite version of the Mummy. I'm just
This
saying.
is true. It's the same mummy. Emotep. It's the
It
same
is,
mummy.
bro. And there's like 4 or 5 other movies like in the same like monster verse that came after it that are about the mummy versus that woman that can't pick a personality. So
Yeah. And now we jump 25 years into the future to check out Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, this is less so the sort of creature feature Universal Monster era and more so the drive-in theater era of the 50s. Things like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Plan 9, things like that. This is kind of where that's coming from. So the production quality's increased. The music budget exists. And they are really trying to lean into like the suspense shock of, this era of horror movies where you're waiting for the creature to attack, it doesn't quite attack, and everybody can scream in their car and cuddle up to their their high school sweethearts, sort of 50s era. And we actually got to see it in 3D in theaters. The only thing that would have made it cooler is if it was actually at a drive-in theater. Would have been
Yeah,
sick.
and we were actually high school sweethearts. No, I was kidding.
That's what I'm saying, dude. If only, if only.
Technically, we are. We went to high school
Hey,
together.
he said technically we are.
Technically. On
Four. Body count goes up 1.
All right.
Yeah, I think this one was.
Seems like creatures aren't the only horny people we're talking about on the pod here. Goodness.
What are your guys' thoughts on before we talk about the movie itself? Thoughts on the 3D? Thoughts on the use of 3D in this, that was 7-year-old film?
As a spoiler for my rating and everything, I think it gives it a half star. Like seeing it in the 3D when it was clearly, I mean, they shot it for 3D, and you can see that in many of the shots, like the one with the hands early on, many of the other stuff. Even when the freaking creature's walking towards the camera, like even that like 3D effect, that's what I'm imagining. Like people would definitely get freaked out and scared when they were watching this back in the 50s. So I think that there you go is so well done that it added a whole bunch to it. So if I watch it at home, it probably would have lost a half star. But because
like how you saw it
there together in the theater 3D, I'm like, this is great. Like it's having all that impact. So I think it's the best version of the film. So if people are able to see it in 3D, hopefully, next time it comes around, you can get that privilege. But
I thought it 3D TV, if they even sell those anymore.
There's
no idea, but good stuff.
I want you guys to know I did not know we were going to be seeing this in 3D until I
didn't know either.
So I got the ticket, I walked up, I showed the guy the ticket. He looked at it, he turned around, he grabbed the 3D glasses and put them in my hand, and I went, what? Because we're watching a movie from 1954. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just roll with it, I guess. And then I walk and I look down at my ticket and it says 3D, and I was like, there's no fucking way this movie's 3D.
Didn't I even send my message where I was like, yo?
I didn't see it if you did. 3D. I had no fucking idea.
I just know we were seeing it. I didn't pay attention to the 3D part, and I was just pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, okay, bet.
Yeah. So I walked in, I see everybody in the theater wearing their 3D glasses. I go, fuck. I'm watching a 3D movie. Because my only experience in 3D has been like pretty bad, except for Avatar. Avatar is like James Cameron just knows how to shoot things in 3D in the way that nobody else does, where it's not gimmicky and it's supposed to feel like the movie's bleeding outside of the edges of the frame. And I was like, I've never seen a movie really do it as well as Avatar. And this is probably the one of all the ones I've seen. Like I'm so used to like 2010s era 3D where it's just gimmicky,
the real
like
D3D,
hitting the ball and the paddle towards the the camera, just like really gimmicky, cheap 3D.
Or like
Muppet Vision, like going and seeing Muppet Vision at Hollywood Studios, where it's just a bunch of cheap tricks to experience the 3D is what I'm used to.
Did you ever see the Final Destination 4 movie in 3D?
I didn't see any of the Final Destination.
Dude, it was made for 3D, so all the kills just happen, and it just goes to the camera, and it's so bad. It's like the worst Final Destination movie. It's so bad.
Awful. But this one, I was like, this is a movie that you probably could watch outside of 3D, and it's perfectly fine. But the 3D, it's mostly not very noticeable for most of the film. You can kind of feel a little difference in the layers of the foreground and the background kind of in the 3D. But when it really stands out, it looks really good. And it does so right off the bat with the explosion of the space rocks and the rocks exploding off into the sides. I went, whoa, that looked fucking awesome. This is going to be interesting. And then the next one was that hand sticking out and just jutting forward outside of the screen. Also awesome. Just looks fantastic. And then there's just a couple other good moments, like the bubbles coming up underwater.
Bubbles are so good.
Anytime the monster's walking forward, like you said, Ryan, there's a good couple of moments. And then the rest of it is mostly not too noticeable. I will say there's just a few times where I'm like, I wish I just wasn't wearing these glasses, because nothing 3D is happening, and it is a little noticeable that they're trying to factor in the 3D, and it's not really quite working at this moment because it's just characters on a boat. But when it does work, it's really, really cool.
Amen. How about you, Sean? So you did or did not see this before?
Oh yeah, I've seen Creature from Black Lagoon before. It's my favorite.
Okay, so how did it hit in 3D?
Oh, it was great. I didn't realize it was so good in 3D. I just never processed that because I've never known it to be like I know it's from the 50s, but I never processed like, oh, this is like one of those like early 3D movies. Like I just always have seen the movie and I've liked it because I like the idea. I like the idea of it. I think it's shot well for its time. The music makes it fun. I like how I just love also underwater scenes. I don't know what it is with like old movies and like shoot like Jaws, like I talked about earlier, like shooting from the ocean or like all that stuff. I just think it's really creative and cool for that time period.
Yeah.
So the 3D, I was like, it was hard to watch. I'll give Dylan, like I agree with Dylan. There was
It's like in
points
the
where I'm
normal
like,
scenes
what's
where they're just
going on?
having like doing dialogue scenes was like this doesn't need to be 3D, and so the fact that I'm wearing these glasses is like I can notice like the 3D elements of it, and it's not
Mhm.
necessary.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I do think when it was 3D, it stood out.
It
Like,
felt immersive, which was
yeah,
cool because 3D almost never feels immersive unless you're watching fucking Avatar. You know,
man. Those bubbles though were great. I
bubbles
was
were
really impressed by the
fantastic.
bubbles. Everything else Dylan said was true, but those bubbles, I was like, oh my god, this
Those
is like
bubbles looked
kind of
like
cool.
I felt
Yeah,
like they were coming at me, bro. It was awesome.
yeah, man.
Very rarely do I experience that in a 3D movie where I'm like just like immersed so much that it feels like it's actually coming at me. And this one got me a few times, which is great for a 70-year-old movie. But those underwater scenes, also fantastic. Great filmmaking going on to get those underwater scenes to look that good.
100%. We gotta give a shout out to the people that were in the suit,
Oh yeah,
the
good luck to them.
creature,
Oh my
Yo
god.
Man,
The
whoever it was.
professional
Like,
swimmer who had
it's
to
just
hold
actually
his breath
underwater.
the
Yeah,
entire time because they didn't fit a tank onto his suit.
Yeah, but so you guys should look at like what the suit on the inside looks like. It does not look comfortable at all.
Yeah, no, and
And
he's just
filming
holding
that,
his breath.
swimming
How does
in.
he even look outside that thing, man? Those eyes do not look like it's easy to see out of.
Oh, you mean these eyes, Dylan?
Oh God! How you
Sorry,
pulling up the picture,
I've been
bro?
waiting to pull it up. I'm sorry.
That shit looks like black and white Admiral Akbar, bro.
it does.
Crazy.
It's the best shot of the whole film, man.
Popular
trap.
fish and stuff.
The fact that we all had to stop and look at it and just start laughing at it. I
When
forgot
they
that
did
happened.
it like 3 times, and you could hear the
and
like
then,
chuckles
and then he
ripple throughout the
slowly,
audience.
and then he slowly starts getting up,
Yeah.
like as he's doing
The
it.
creature sitting in that boat cage looks hilarious, and the fact that it's not a meme yet is
That's
insane.
what I'm like. That's so right
It's
for a
so-
meme. We got to make it happen. That picture in particular.
It's so
It's
good.
so funny looking.
You can
Send
steer
that
like
to-
at the camera too. Like it's
send
great.
that to me right now so I can make a sticker of it.
Please
Okay.
do,
And
yeah.
then make a photo
I'll send
emoji
it, I'll
of
send
it
it
as
to
well.
I'll send it to both of you. That's so funny.
But yeah, so that stuff is crazy. Like being able to see all the detail on the suit, both when it's like out of the water and then in the water, and seeing him swim around for like extended periods of time. Like these are not, little gimmicky things. Like we're watching for pretty long takes as he's swimming underneath
Yeah.
the woman and all that. And so it was very impressive to know that they had to, again, like do this for real and put a lot of time and effort into making sure that it came across authentically, but was done safely and was going to be able to deliver those thrills. And they succeeded. Like,
I just
it
I
was
just love the
fantastic.
small like nuances too of like their character and like what they add to it because like I don't know how well y'all really noticed it. You probably did, but I just thought it was cool noticing like how they made the creature its own version of swimming. So it's like very humanoid like, but like he doesn't swim like naturally. He like kind of just flutters his feet and will like put one arm out and then he'll turn and then he'll just like keep going like it. I'm like that's not how normal people like swim. And then like all the people were like go like that. I don't know. I just like noticing small things that like separate it and give it like an actual like character instead of just being like it's a guy in a costume he's swimming underwater. Like no,
It
like
twitches
he's,
a
like,
little bit, you know?
Yeah,
It
it's
twitches
great.
underwater and changes directions very sharply.
Yeah, like oh yeah, like, especially when he got hit with the like the harpoons and he's like
Mhm.
going like really fast by the rocks or something like that. I'm
Looked
like
awesome,
good up to the swimmer. Like that's really impressive.
Real.
Maybe he had cool direction, but I liked it.
Yeah. I will say though, a lot of the movie is dependent upon like the shock of the creature and they can only do the gimmick of like his hand reaching out so many times.
Slow
before
hand,
I'm
and then
no longer
And
like
the one on the boat.
caring about it all.
they do have music in this movie, which is like
They do.
great. We nailed that. That's a tool
Thank
that can
God.
be used. But then they used it to. It's just the same like theme every time he like has the hand coming out, and it's like it loses its impact very quickly.
It stops being shocking after like the second or third time because
Yeah.
the first 2 times you see the creature is, I swear to God, just the same shot replayed.
Of the
It's
hand,
of
yeah.
the hand coming up onto the rocks and then going
You
back
cut
into the
10
water.
minutes of it. It's like
It's like
the same
dog.
movie.
Like I don't even know what to say to that, man.
Yeah. Even the
Yeah,
beginning,
like
it was the
the
same
big-
thing. It's the hand.
The big scares in the movie is that the monster is there, you know? Like, he does attack some people and he kills some people, but it's mostly like
Oh
the
yeah,
monster is there. And I think the only one that I thought was cool that worked for me was when he was stalking the woman while she was swimming, and he's like swimming underneath her.
that was a cool
That part's
shot.
awesome.
Well, there was like an actual. I don't know if y'all remember this. There was like a gasp in the audience when they were all on the boat, like talking about it, and it was just already on the boat. That shot and like where they're
Where
like
like in
under
the
the
porthole
cabin,
where it
and then
walks
like you
by.
see his legs in the background walking, and then it cuts to him.
Mhm.
Someone was like, "Oh God, he's there!" Or like there was a gasp. I was like, "Oh yeah, there he is."
There should not have been a gasp. Whoever did that is like 5 years old.
But I just thought
There should
I
not
still
have been
thought
a
it was
gasp.
cool
in
that they
moment,
still got a
man.
gasp in 2025 though.
It
Because
cut
they,
It
to
was
a
they
porthole
Sean
for no
gasping.
reason. You could not expect
it was
anything else
amazing.
on the outside of that porthole other than the creature from the
No,
Black
no, it
Lagoon.
wasn't the whole Dylan. I don't. It was in the cabin where they're all
Hmm.
like talking about it, like all of
Yeah,
them. This is
yeah.
before the guy gets injured. You can
Hmm.
see like the stairs to it, like to the deck under, like in the background, and then its legs appear out of nowhere, like it's already on the boat, and then
Hmm.
it cuts to it on the boat, like looking for the girl or something, and someone gasped at that because they didn't realize that it was already on the boat. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It got a gasp in 2025. Nice. Someone has not seen this movie before.
It should not have gotten a gasp. That's crazy,
Dylan, stop gasp shaming. Okay.
bro. That person is an individual who's never seen a horror movie before.
That is true. But I
That's
do think
somebody
the
that if
one
you
you're
took them to see
talking
the
about,
Exorcist, they'd have a heart attack.
but the one you're talking about where like the guy's like lying there with like the bandage around his head, he's like in like the little hole. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's like reaching in and grabbing at him, and he just can't do anything but squirm. Poor
Yeah, and
guy.
then he just hits him once like with his hand, and then he just goes.
What do you even
"Arr!"
lives or dies? You know,
Yeah.
the movie just kind of ends.
That's
Yeah.
the one,
Also,
yeah, issue with this one, and some of the others, like they just end. Like the Mummy had a very
yeah,
abrupt ending, and then this one, it's like, oh, can we see them like get back home and just be like chilling
they
out?
just
Like
reach like a climax, and they're like, "That was it. That
Yeah,
was the
they
the
got.
creature
climax."
just
Oh no,
sinks,
they
and it's like, all
come
right,
high. They shoot him twice, and then they go, let him go. He just walks off.
There's a lot
yeah,
of moments where like I just don't understand a lot of the character motivations. I don't understand why uh the main guy, who I don't remember his name, he's like there with his partner, and his partner wants to get the creature, and he wants to just leave because he's like, we don't need to get the creature, we need to get out of here, this is dangerous. And then they capture the creature and they swap positions because now the partner is like, all right, we got him, let's get out of here. And the other guy's like, no, we must complete our collection. And it's like, you just wanted to leave. You
Yeah.
like just wanted to get out of here. And now that it's captured, you want to stay and continue the research. Like, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like don't complain all this time and then capture the creature and be like, well, hold on, I didn't get all my rocks yet.
Yeah, we need more rocks. Science hasn't occurred yet. I don't know.
Right.
I also just love how into the whole expedition to find the creature the guy is, sees the creature, wants to leave, gets the creature, wants to stay, loses the
Rocks.
creature again, and then just wants to leave. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
like
I get
very
it.
conflicting motivations from scene to scene.
But I love it. It's kind of cheesy, you know what I mean? Like it's the 50s. It's a little corny. I like it. It's like the beginning of like a little campiness to it.
I guess.
I like it.
it does have that. I like the the conflicts between those two characters at least. Of like one is very
Yeah.
adamant about we need to get the creature, and
It's a very
the
like
other-
well oiled, tried and true trope.
And the
100%.
like little
Exactly.
small love triangle on the side too.
It's the
like,
Jurassic Park trope, you know,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah. So I appreciated that aspect. It just again, the characters weren't fully fleshed out in a way that I was 100% invested in them
Yeah,
and what was going on. And then a lot of the character deaths, like when that one guy, the guy that was like always trying to get out and wanted the creature to have the big story and get a lot of funding. When he died, it just felt kind of like, okay, he's gone. Like I thought for sure with him there would have been more of a response, more of
Yeah.
mourning, and it just feels like that did not happen. So
it reminds me of like the new Jurassic World where they set up Ed Skrein to be like kind of like one of the bad guys, and then he just dies immediately.
Bro.
Immediately
I have
gets
not
killed,
seen this movie yet.
bro.
I probably won't watch it.
I spoiled maybe the first like 15 minutes for you, bro.
Yeah, but that's enough to ruin. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I'll watch it. I've only seen the
not
first
bad.
Jurassic World. I have not seen the other two. I don't care to see the other ones, honestly.
Don't. Those two are bad, and then the new one that came out with Scarlett Johansson's okay.
Oh wait, I did see that one. I didn't realize that was a Jurassic World movie. My bad.
Yeah, technically,
The writing and the dialogue's awful, but it looks cool.
it's all right.
dude.
It was fun.
The other two are so much worse, bro.
I I can't compare them yet, but if there's a dinosaur movie where they sit there and talk about not dinosaurs and eat mints for 20 minutes, I'm not gonna like the movie. All right, I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay.
I mean, they spent a
So-
fat amount of time in the first Jurassic Park talking about fucking fish when they're eating the fish.
Okay, that's a 70s
But-
or whatever, 80s.
90s. It was also compelling.
Damn.
The stuff, and that latest one was not compelling at all. But
No, it wasn't.
Not quite.
they had some great action sequences
Yeah.
and some good VFX and all that for most of it. So
Parts of it look great.
it offered enough. It hit its mark.
Mhm.
It did what I
for
needed it to do, kind of.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. Again, it had some shades of that. Like it made an attempt. And certainly on paper, it's like, yes, if you were to create strong drama, this is how you would do it. I just don't know that the writing and all the performances at the time like really allowed it to get there. But it was interesting enough, get me engaged, and for the most part, the creature like is really well done. Outside of those couple like goofy moments and a lot of the repetitive appearances that he had, it's just astonishing that they were able to like capture. Thank you for showing us our guy again, John. Just astonishing that they were able to make him look that good and also have the suit, like that bodysuit, be able to go underwater and for that length of time. And
Gills
hold
moved a
up.
bit too. Yeah, technically it was very good.
Exactly. So I think on those technical fronts, like a lot of the wows that it offered way back when, you can still appreciate them today.
Yeah.
Because we're now so far removed that it comes back around to being like, wow, given what they had available to them, like they knocked it out of the park, like did it as well as they could. So I was a fan of that. Any other thoughts on Creature from the Black Lagoon?
No, I think we hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I'm honestly scared if they were like to remake this movie. Like honestly, obviously not. I'm not making a joke about Shape of Water. I'm being serious. Like if they were to remake this movie, I would be kind of concerned. I don't think it'd
No,
be
I
good.
think it could be cool. I think
It
it'd be really
could.
cool.
But
I think it's
don't-
about
I
time.
don't know.
I think we need a.
It would essentially be like a slasher feature, but instead of a human being, it's a fish creature, and that would be sick.
Okay, we got to get
Especially
to
if
the
they went
Anaconda
with the
remake
trope of
first.
like just the boat being stuck in the Amazon and having there be a fish man trying to hunt them all. It could be really cool.
That could be better than what the actual like the whole like discovery part of it would be.
Yeah, it would be like slasher mixed with. Well, you can literally keep the same plot if you just flesh out the characters a little better and their motivations a little better, and then just like make the
I
kills
guess.
a little more like of the time and make it more horror and gory,
Yeah.
and make it just kind of like a slasher meets Jaws kind of thing.
Anaconda. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, shit.
Lake Placid. No, I'm just kidding.
So how many Rodanone blasts out of 5?
I give it a 3.5.
Sean?
Big Sean.
I'm too biased. I give it a 4.5. I love that movie.
Damn.
I love that movie.
Nice.
And I think as a movie, it's definitely like a solid 3.5. Like I don't know if I could say it's better than Dracula or like Frankenstein, but the 3D was really good and it was better than I remembered. And now we have that really funny joke of him in the cage. I have to give it
In
a
the
4.5.
cage.
I have to give it a 4.5. I can't. It's not perfect, but I have to. For being my favorite, I have to give it a 4.5.
Yeah, I am giving Creature from the Black Lagoon 3D version a 3.5.
Hell yeah.
I think it was very, very solid. I'm happy. And this is the one that I don't know why for all the ones. Maybe it's because it has had such a limited like presence outside of this initial movie. Because again, Frankenstein, Mummy, we've had so many sequels, reboots, all this stuff. Creature from the Black Lagoon has always felt like it was just on its own, this like 50s film.
Yeah.
And so
it's a distinct
I
cousin.
wanted it to be really solid, and it turned out it was.
It was.
So
Good.
I'm satisfied.
It's
Yeah.
the bridge between generations because right after this was like Psycho and stuff. So
Yeah, a little bit, kind of. That's all the time we have. If you'd like to give your thoughts on the show, you can email us at theboxofficeshowpod@gmail.com.
Our main title theme for the show is Sundown by Joseph McDade.
If you like the show, please give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Big shout out to Sean Tormey, our horror expert, back on the pod for his millionth,
Thank you,
billionth
Sean.
time.
whoop whoop. And I'll
Shout out
keep,
Sean.
and
He's
I'll
our
keep
number one
adding to
third
those
chair.
millions. Let's go.
Number 1. You're pretty much a co-host at this point.
Heck yeah, at least once a year.
At At least, at the
At
very
least
least.
once a year.
At least. I'll be
And-
here Halloween.
We'll get you on for episode roulette soon. Gotta make that happen. So
Let me see if I can roast 28 years later Bone Temple.
Dude,
I did not.
it's
like
gonna be
28
good,
years
bro.
later.
I
don't
promise
believe
you.
it. I don't believe it's gonna be good. But
It will be better than 28 years later, I swear.
It
And
looks-
if it isn't, I'll be
it looks
so
better,
sad.
but I will be sad too. But it looks better. So I can't.
There you go. Be sure to tune in next week. Have a great rest of your day.